talking about how disjointable Sven's Q is.
Sinking just disjointed our stream.
You know, we want to show you an example. Disjoint the stream for a little bit. We are also disjointable, but will we?
Yep.
Not often.
No, no, definitely not.
So we got some predictions, boys. Before we jump in, we better make it quick because these teams are ready to kick some dick.
Yep, we are loading into that game.
All right, Pimpy, what are you feeling, buddy?
I gotta say, I just want to go with the Anti-Mage and the Wind Ranger just to fuck with you, Stacks. So
Okay.
yeah, let's go NiP.
Anti-Mage is a great hero. I think he's top tier. Everyone says he sucks. I think he's really good carry now. But okay.
I think he's pretty good too, actually.
Sure.
Even after, I guess he was nerfed in 7.02.
Yeah.
Tweaked, but I think he's still quite good.
All right, what are you feeling? What team?
I'm going with the Anti-Mage.
You're gonna go with the Anti-Mage. Okay. All right. That's two.
Man,
for NiP.
I wanted to go the same, but I don't want to be the same as everybody else.
No, please, because you know I'm gonna be different.
All right, I'll go NiP. I know you're not gonna go with any Windrunner lineup, so
Yep.
I'll just go against you.
Let me tell you one thing. Alliance's draft makes 0 sense to me. Okay, one stun against a bunch of very quick run around the map heroes. They have weird team fight. They have everything that is nonsense, but they don't have Wind Rangers, so they're probably gonna win. So I'm 100% Alliance. Let's do it, boys.
All right, well, we'll be loading into the game shortly here. Of course, GG Bet odds are open. 1.98 payout here for Alliance and 1.78 for NiP. So NiP, the favorites coming into this one here.
Wait, what? 1.98?
So that means that's the amount of money. NiP are the favorites. So you get more if you bet on the underdog. See what I'm saying? So, like, for OG versus Alliance, the payout for Alliance was like 4 point something. And for OG, it was like 1.2 because OG are the heavy favorites.
Ah.
You see? So
now I know.
That's what those numbers mean,
A little
Slacks.
more about ggbet.com.
So we're trying to load into the lobby here. It looks like actually we have a pause. One of the Alliance players is having trouble loading in. So we'll have just a moment here, Slacks. Don't you worry.
So, yeah, I mean, just talking about these drafts a little more.
Let's talk about these drafts.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking about the Anti-Mage pick. You think he's going to be picking up a Scepter this game? Is there anybody really good on the other team? I don't think so.
So let's see. Sven Stun, obviously. Viper Strike, potentially.
Oh, what is...
And Leech Seed. That's about it.
Kill me, sucker!
I think Anti-Mage Ags is so good.
It is actually so good.
It is so freaking good.
It is the bane of all
Do you get
supports.
it with two... That's the... What is Silencer's single target? Is that Curse of the Silent?
Last Word?
Last Word,
I think it's fine to get this game, actually. You get After Manta, though.
Oh, that's the other one. That's actually a really good one to reflect. That kind of fucks the Silencer when he gets a taste of his own medicine like that. That's pretty good.
It's pretty nice, but...
Like, how do they lock him down if he has Ags?
It has to be Leech Seed. It has to be a stun from Treant coming out of Invis, and then Leech Seed to cancel Lincolns. Or like eggs. It's really hard. If you don't have Treant with you, you can't really gank him.
Yeah. So they're very wily.
You can still global, but he's gonna have Manta.
That's super.
You have to win lane super hard as Alliance, otherwise this AM is gonna run rampant, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not super hard, but at least like have a strong mid game, you know?
And if anybody on NiP gets a Lincolns and puts it on the AM, he's just done. No one's gonna touch him. So
I'm mostly like I know how you feel about Wind Ranger Slacks. I think NiP it's all about the spammable stuns. I think this will be a game where there's a fair bit of fighting. And I think it's slightly easier for NiP. Ease of execution advantage is what I'm talking about here. I think it's way easier for NiP. For Alliance, it's like you got to make every global count. You got to make every overgrowth count. Like, it's a big deal.
I have no idea what the Darkseer does in this game for them either. Like, literally no idea. What is the
Here's
point?
to Monkey King Game 2.
Hey, here's to Monkey King.
All right,
boys, we're going in.
We've got a draft. Game number 1. It's going to be Blitz and Cap casting this first game. I hope they're in the team speak.
I'm here. I don't think Austin's here.
I fixed his mic. Go ahead.
I think you need to give me mic power. I think this was a problem. Last time I was a guest on elimination mode. Thanks, Moonduck. Great stuff as always. Hey, Blitz.
Hello. Can you hear me? I don't even know if this mic works.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Cool.
All right. Well, I mean, you kind of disagreed with Alliance's draft. You wanted something. Do you think Sven is a little bit too slow, right? That's what I'm gonna guess anyway.
Yeah, I think that if NiP play this properly, they can run at them with 4 heroes and just completely own around the map. So for Alliance, I think their laning phase has to go really well, because I think this new Anti-Mage is not bad at all.
Do you
I think
like the
this hero,
new Aghanim Scepter?
it's even just less about the Ags and more the pace of the game seems to be kind of okay for him. He deals with offlaners pretty well. Like all these heroes that deal with offlaners pretty well, and don't get kited very easily, Anti-Mage falls under that category. In a game like this, once he gets Manta, like what kills him unless he misplays?
It does seem to be. I know there was a lot of people who originally thought with the introduction of talents and the and taking away of stats that Anti-Mage fell off pretty hard, but it does seem like he's kind of climbing back in there. And for this tournament, obviously, it means he's a lot more viable. You said Alliance have to have good lanes though, and they do have one of the better laners out there. Tree Protector is a monster in the laning phase.
Yeah, that new Nature's Guys is really, really annoying, but NiP do have really good ways to deal with him. Like they have this Leshrac, who's going to be quite successful. I'm pretty surprised, by the way, that Sand King is a support and not the offlaner. But I guess they just don't really believe in offlane Sand King against Silencer Sven.
And they've also been running in DAC. They ran offlane Mirana a couple times for Trixie. It just seems to be something that that they specifically like. Dropping down a counter ward, EGM does have the Ion Shell, so he's standing right on top of Synderen. We'll get a decent chunk amount of damage there. The danger of any Darkseer +1 lane is that even if you do have 3 heroes in lane, you're not really going to be able to win this lane necessarily. The Ion Shell harassment is going to be rather tough for NiP to deal with.
Yeah, I'm surprised that NiP aren't just starting down a sentry on the left side. And now they do so, but it's a minute and a half into this lane, and Treen's just kind of had free reign of it. But I think they need to push this lane out and start dragging these creeps in, the small camp. Otherwise, they're just sapping XP from each other. Like, everybody's level 1. Jonas and Fawn just got a free level 2. They're not really doing anything in this lane. Like, I think you should push this lane right now. And that's the best thing that Darkseer does, is that he counter pressures the lane. I know that sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but like you want to be able to push this lane for your supports so that they can pull. That's why Era's kind of less hitting pretty aggressively here.
I mean, part of it isn't. Didn't they kind of miss their timing though? Or don't they need to stack the easy camp, or you think it's cool just to do a 1 pull and because you're versus Darkseer?
I think you can get away with the single pull into the stack, or the single pull into the connect. Or is it too far now?
No,
it looks
no,
pretty
still,
scary far.
No, it definitely still connects. It's just if you did that though, you'd have that whole entire hard camp pretty heavily contested by Darkseer and Tree.
Yeah, but at least like you're getting some XP. Otherwise, you're triple sharing XP on 3 different heroes right now, and nobody's really getting ahead. Like you see what they did is Era started auto attacking creeps so that Hani can pull this now. Like I feel they should have done this immediately, but they didn't. And
meanwhile, we do have a mid matchup. I wanted to get your thoughts on Wind Ranger as well, because that's a hero that I've seen a lot of people playing lately. Misery was playing it last night. Whooped my ass pretty handedly. I've seen a number of people trying out support Wind Ranger as well. It seems like with the challenge change, a lot of people feel like the hero is more viable.
Yeah, it's almost like I saw some Reddit thread about how Wind Ranger's talent tree was useless. And then they're like, we'll just make this hero better. And that's exactly what happened. And normally when things like that happen...
Honey, goodbye. Go on.
Now this lane is dangerous.
Yeah. Now they've got level 2 Ion Shell. They've got the level 3 Tree Protector, which is where, well, level 2 is where he gets very strong in lane when he has both the Invis as well as the Leech Seed. But now we've got some levels of Living Armor as well.
Yeah, like imagine if the Sand King and this Leshrac are both level 3. Like I feel like they'd just be able to kill them like every single time. But as a result, EGM kind of just actually doing whatever he wants.
They need to be able to land this stun. He does have the Living Armor out on him. They might be able to go for a dive here on this one. EGM does have the Caustic Finale that will finish him off.
Honey's dead again too, though.
At least Jonas Safon does get a turnaround kill there. Now level 4 in lane with the Soul Ring, with boots as well. Anti-Mage at least can deal with that Ion Shell pressure pretty well, but these supports are suffering.
Yeah, the good news is that this Mirana has been arrowing neutral camps and just been stacking and grabbing these bounty runes. So she's doing just fine, and the lane's pushing in. Like, Trixie is kind of doing incredible, like, for how this is supposed to go. I guess there's no kill potential.
They seem to know when to run this offlane Mirana. They have a pretty good nose for it.
There's no way they can kill him if he has a leap up, right? If he applies last word, you can just wait till the last second and then jump. They can't really do anything to kill him, but it's still pretty incredible how farmed he is.
Is there a reason? Because there does seem to be a lot of opportunities in this current patch with aggro dual lanes for Mirana to be run as an offlaner. Why don't we see more of it?
As we talk about that, mid's gonna get killed. I think it's just because she is so dependent on hitting the arrow, and as an offlaner, you can't really pressure. Like, this is elimination mode, so a lot of the good heroes are banned. But normally, when they're normal carries or normal supports, you can just zone her out with 2 heroes. Because she can't really fight back. Her base damage is nothing to write home about.
Tanking is going to get the jump here on Jonas Amfan. Era is just level 5. Not quite having that ultimate means Jonas Amfan is actually going to be pretty tanky without mana. They're going to try and run him down with Diabolic Edict, turn towards EGM instead. They've completely split up now, going for Jonas Amfan with the help of Koifa. They will manage to take him down with the power shot. 3-3, Ninjas of Pajamas. A very big kill there on Jonas Amfan as he was picking up so much in lane.
Yeah, right now for Alliance, that bottom lane is really their savior right now. Even though the AM is getting farmed, the Darkseer is doing just fine, and the supports on the side of NiP are getting pretty stifled. Like, you already have almost a level 5 Hanskin. This Treant is in a similar position because he's splitting XP well with this offlaner. And your offlaner hasn't even struggled that much. Like, he's got 24 CS. Hanskin's gonna even get this ward here mid. But for Alliance, we talked about how this bottom lane had to go exceedingly well. Because I feel like an anti-mage could just take over. And they're gonna go again.
And a follow-up. Jonas Amfan is dead again. So all of that static laning phase where they were doing so well for themselves and getting all this golden experience and pressuring is now gone completely away. That advantage is gone after 2 deaths on Jonas Amfan.
Yeah. I think he just got a little bit too cocky there. Like, this is still a double stun lane with an anti-mage mana burning a Darkseer. It's still pretty strong. But if he waits for the tree and he's able to play a little bit more passively, then they can get away with a lot more.
So instead of the laning phase going Alliance's way, which at one point in time they were up by like 1,000 gold, it's now dead even. Windranger's not too far behind a Viper, and most heroes are going to lose to a Viper anyway. Mirana's getting, enough farm out of there, even if he can't pressure the Sven. So it seems as a whole, Ninjas Pajamas are actually doing pretty well for themselves in the laning phase, and should have a very strong mid game, which is where you were talking about is going to be kind of fearsome, right? This 4-man run at you from NiP is going to be able to fight and create a lot of space for Era, just free farm this whole entire game out. If he gets to a certain point,
Loda gets hit by the arrow, and then nothing comes of it.
I was about to say there is no follow up.
It was a cool arrow though. Like, you gotta give him props, man.
All right, props to Trixie for landing a cool arrow that doesn't do anything. Limp is actually coming in with a haste rune. All these heroes in Ninjas Pajamas, they're going to pop the Moonlight Shadow. Trixie's going to try and draw the creep aggro away from the tower, but with the Helmet Dominator, Sven can use that to tank up. Synderins, think about it. Takes out that sentry. Tier 1 tower is going to go down finally. Loda takes it with the Hellbear Smasher.
Yeah, and that's going to be a win for Alliance. You forced a bunch of heroes to rotate. Couldn't say the tower couldn't get anything really in return. Like, they thought it was just going to be 2 heroes up there, but Alliance, that was a very good move by them. They bring the entire squad.
I mean, that is a huge advantage for the Sven carry. We don't see it very much, right? But it could just mow down towers, especially with the new Helmet Dominator that everyone's building.
It's getting pretty low, but I think Limp's just annoyed. So he throws out the ultimate. Sometimes you do that. Like, you're playing this mid laner and you just hate him. And you're playing Viper. It's like not the most fun hero. Like, the only thing this hero is good for is pissing off other heroes, realistically speaking.
So he's trying to get Koifa on edge.
Yeah, it's like you can't wave clear, which is something that's really fun to do. can't really farm. If you're really immobile. Like your job in life is just to kind of tank and throw poison at people. It's not very sexy.
Yeah. Not very sexy. I like the way you put that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there's plenty of mid players that who really do need something sexy, something that can style on the enemy.
Yeah, it's like you gotta pay. You want to play the flashy mid heroes. Oh, at bottom there is a net creep, but Synderen gonna get spotted out, but they're still gonna grab this kill as
basically triple
more than
stun
enough.
with the ensnare and Era to finish him off with the ultimate. At the same time, though, Trixie did pick up a kill onto the
Was
silencer.
it solo? Yeah, I think he just grabbed a solo kill. Trixie's a boss. He's almost got Ags.
Yeah,
What?
you know, I wasn't sure about Trixie, but you know, it's a replacement to Kazu, who's pretty good, and then this team also lost the Yapster. I was like, oh man, Ninja's Pajamas, this is going to be the weakest iteration yet. But I have to say, Trixie has impressed me quite a bit with how he's just like jumped back into Dota and looked pretty good at it.
Dude, this guy's about to have like a 13-minute offlane Ags as Mirana. Like,
Yeah.
I'm laughing at this. So I don't even know what to.
He got decent farm in lane. He's got the Sacred Arrow all the time.
Dude,
the smoke
decent? This
from Alliance.
I'd be so happy if I got this as a mid Mirana.
He is almost getting 5 CS a minute. That's pretty impressive for any
What a
offlaner.
boss. Go you, Trixie.
He's even outdoing Jonas Vaughn's Darks here due to Jonas Vaughn dying so many times. Alliance, with their smoke, they're just going to bully down a tower. They don't manage to pick up any hero kills, but Ninja's Pajamas are pretty quick to counter pressure themselves. They saw the way that Alliance grouped up last time for a tower push, and they don't want to meet them again. So instead, they're going to try and take mid tower, and they're going to be pretty close to it. They need to fully commit, though, because the Train Protector is going to heal this tower up. Nice deny from Limp. TP'd to the tier 2 and got there just in time to take away that gold.
Yeah, that's very well done, but losing the mid tower at just 11 minutes and like it allows opportunities like this.
Oh, the silence went off just in
Oh,
time.
you're so
The
clutch.
epicenter, it was like literally a quarter second from going off. Now Ninja's Pajamas have the full retreat, but they're going to lose both their supports. Fortunately, Koifa did have a TP. Hunskin could not have timed that better.
He actually couldn't have. He baited them so hard. It was. I mean, Limp was probably screaming. You know, you're like, silence, 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 and he did. That was insane timing. I thought, you know, you lose the mid tower, you open yourself up to wraparound opportunities like that, which is why giving up that tower is not great. Like, I would really like to see NiP just full force gather, TP to the tier 2, the tier 1, save this. Because you're giving up too much control of your jungle, considering that you already gave away your safe lane tower. Like, this is always the issue.
Nice find by Synderen. EGM is going to have to get himself out of those trees. Reveals himself for a moment, trying to get out of that sentry, though. He is going to get that extra movement speed. They do have another
not
sentry.
like
They're going to
this.
drop it again, but EGM's so fast. They are actually just going to run out of sentries soon. EGM has nowhere else to run, though. Actually managed to get to some... How did he get through that gap without revealing himself?
Dude, there was like 50 trees, and he's a tree.
1,
He still
2,
doesn't get hit by Shackle Shot.
3 sentries. I mean, you would think eventually they would just grab some dust. Hani's going to get caught. Wall
Oh,
replica
no.
thrown on him. They
He's
don't
fine,
manage to
he's
get the
fine, he's
vacuum.
fine.
If they had stopped that stun, maybe they could have run him down, but...
Oh, that's so depressing. And now, like, there's just so much attention being drawn to this bottom lane. Like, they just 5-man rotated into their own jungle. I think you should try to deward if you're in this position, if you had any sentries left.
Well, they absolutely do not, so... At least
Man.
Synderen does have some dust now.
I mean, NiP were in a really good position, and then those two fights, or that one fight mid, and then that engagement at bottom, like, you got 4 heroes to rotate, and then you got 5 heroes to rotate. Just a lot of space, and now Alliance, what they can do is just full force gather, take this mid tower, and we talked about the importance of losing this mid tower early on. Synderen doesn't have a blink or anything like that. Like, Alliance are in a very good position to fight right now, because NiP, they want to create space for this AM, they want to play this 4 protect 1 kind of style. And Alliance are doing a very good job of creating chaos around the map to set up for this.
Era is going to try and push out bottom as far as he can, but the damage is already done. Loda's still sticking around with his Blink Dagger. I'm not sure why, though. He does bounce back and will continue to farm away, working towards that Echo Saber now after the Halmadam and Blink.
I'll take your tribute.
Yeah. This Mirana, though, does have an entire Aghanim subject completed. Once again, incredibly impressed by that. He's only 100 net worth behind this Viper. And so, NiP have a very strong tricore, but my largest issue of concern right now is just how far behind their supports are, because they were pretty much glued to that bottom lane, and they weren't able to pull for themselves or anything. So you've got a level 6 Sanking at 14 minutes. You've got a level 5 Leshrac at 14 minutes. They're both very clearly at the bottom of the net worth chart.
This is a pretty big problem, right? Because they chose an offlaner that is more farming. It doesn't give you a mech, nor does it give you a blink dagger. They have no real form of initiation until they have that blink dagger on Sand King. Not for those like big team fights.
I mean, all three of your cores don't really have a reliable stun, unless you're somehow counting Anti-Mage's Mana Void. You've got Wind Ranger Shackle Shot. You've got an arrow. You know, it's not super great at fighting or anything like that. So I think NiP, most of your movement's going to come from these two supports, but if your two supports are both level 6 at 15 minutes, you're going to have a bad time.
Thinderin trying to kill the creep wave. Double Ion Shell does a lot of damage to him. Darkseer tried to pursue. They do have the Moonlight Shadow out from NiP as they go through their own jungle, trying to hunt down the Sven here, but there's a lot of heroes right behind. Sentries being laid out. Doesn't look like anybody from NiP is going to be caught in that trap set up by Alliance.
You need to transition this into a push right now if you're Alliance. Like, anytime you show heroes like this, because their heroes are so immobile, right? Like, that's the downside of having heroes like Sven and Viper and Tree. Like, these heroes have no mobility, so when you show 3 heroes, it's always meant to transition immediately into a push. Which
you
is
may
exactly
not have the agility to be able to bounce around the map a whole bunch, but you can just take things with brute force. You just force the enemy to come to you rather than moving to them.
Because you know that NiP, how are they ever going to initiate a fight? You're going to have a Sand King that just walks at you, and Hanskin's just always going to be able to get a global silence off. Like, that's brutal. Yeah, like, what I thought would happen was, I thought that the Sand King would have a much better time. Like, I figured that they would just secure the bottom lane, push out the waves, allow him to get farm. He gets an early blink dagger, and then they have a lot of different ways to just, like, create, like, one-hit pickoffs, and then immediately move around the map. And Alliance won't be able to keep up with this AM's farm. But
the best part is that this Tree and Protector synergizes so well with this Alliance, right? Because you're saying, you know, you have to 5-man into these towers, and NiP, they're not contesting because it's just too dangerous. The team fights are way too hard for them. So instead, they're split pushing and getting chip damage, but that chip damage every single time is just being healed away by the Treant.
Yeah, and what Alliance are doing is they're trying to go for ganks. If they fail, the team immediately converges into a 5-man ball and just goes for it. And this is really smart play by them. But at the same time, like, NiP, they do still have the anti-mage, which I would consider the best late gamer in a game like this. And like, look at Alliance. They walk top, they scare him, and then they immediately just there's 5. They're gonna smoke.
Maybe this is some sort of Roshan play?
I don't think Rosh is a thing, since the Mud Golem's in there.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
Going to find that spoiled.
Yeah. They're going to pop out of the smoke now just to kill this Mud Golem. I don't know if this is the best idea. Loda's going to get pinged by the arrow, but again, we talked about NiP's issues. When 3 of your cores can't initiate a fight, like, I think they can just walk in here. EGM sits behind, and Hanskin, I don't think he should be in the pit. I feel like if he has this high ground area, if his team gets gone on, he can just pop global silence.
Right. Doesn't look like NiP are going to contest. Instead, they're going to try and take this bottom tower, the Glyph, preventing a lot of that damage, but it seems like between the Focus Fire and the Diabolic Edict, we'll take it. Tier 1 for Roshan, not the most fortuitous exchange for NiP, but it is still something at least.
Yeah, and they just immediately walk top. They transitioned it into a push, like we talked about. They don't have God Strength, so going high ground might be a little bit dicey. They could do it though if they just want to force NiP back. Like,
yeah, they should still act like they're gonna go high ground,
exactly.
right? Just to force the enemy team back.
Because right now, they know that NiP have to play this like split up and push style, and actually Hani's out of mana. He does have a TP, but Hani's out of mana. Air's not even walking.
Oh, the vacuum back right in the middle of the leap, and Loda is gonna lose his Aegis here in a second unless the living armor can protect him. A surge out. And that is actually one hell of an initiation there from Ninjas in Pajamas. They get a lot of time for their two heroes. Hani's actually going to force somebody back soon with his Diabolic Edict, unless Alliance managed to get a kill onto Koifa and go high ground. Arrow comes in, not going to be there in time to be able to save Koifa. It seems he will die out.
Oh no, now they're going to push. They've got strength up too. That was perfect for them. Like, Koifa decided to get a little bit greedy though, and now Alliance are going to push forward. That was a lot of damage though. Loda's getting quite low.
Loda, again, the living armor is preventing the small amount of physical damage that NiP have. They have these big nukes, but they can't seem to actually do much past that every single time. Loda is able to walk away with the Aegis, but at least thanks to the pressure from Era on mid and the damage done, Alliance are going to be forced back. So NiP immediately go for a 4-man smoke push out, see if they can do something a little bit more offensive rather than playing reactively.
Man, I feel like Koifa, that was such an unnecessary buyback, just because once they got the initiation off, that was perfect for them. Like, they did everything that they needed to. They forced them back, Era didn't have to come back, and then all of a sudden Koifa says, okay, can we get something out of this? But the Aegis hadn't even been popped yet on the side of Alliance, and they were so ready on top of that high ground. Like, he was pretty much just walking in blind and hoping that his team would be able to follow up, but this is still a Blink Daggerless Sand King. Like, you're not going to be able to find any opportunities for initiation. And this anti-mage is still not very farmed. Like, he needs Manta bare minimum before he's able to fight. Like, once he gets the Manta, then the game becomes really hard for Alliance. But they still need to create time for that, and moments like that, what just happened at top, you're severely hampering your ability.
You basically gave Alliance a second chance when they were being outmaneuvered. Especially with this Leshrac. The Leshrac was doing... it's actually somewhat of a great pick, right? Eats through living armor, can pressure towers solo, so being able to have your 4 position sit, or even 5 position in this case, sitting at the bottom lane and actually successfully taking a tower is something that no other support could do for you.
Yeah, and Jonas and EGM, like, look, this is exactly what you want. You want NiP's heroes who have much mobility to be able to walk around this map, do what they want. There's almost no catch on the side of Alliance, and I guess you have Lotus stun, but that's about it. Cinnerin's hiding in these trees. Does have a Blink Dagger available, but does not want to set up for this.
Now, it did seem like the shrines were an important part of game changing in 7.0 and how people played around it. You know, systematically taking all the outer towers so they can open up the shrines and then get total map control. Does the last 7.02 change the shrines? Do you think that changes how the game is played a little bit now that you're forced to go and do the tier 3s before the shrines are unlocked?
Yeah, I mean, before it was very simple, right? Like, the game was super straightforward, which I wasn't a huge fan of. It was simply just take out all the tier 2s, then the enemy loses all map control, then they're forced to come outside their base to try to defend their shrines or lose the game, right? But now there's a lot more mystery to it. Going for shrines is a lot scarier.
Feels like it's higher risk, high reward now. In a way where it's like, now you have to go high ground, but if you successfully take that tier 3 tower, then boom, you've got total map control.
Because it means that even if all your tier 2s are taken, you still have the ability to come back into the game. Just because shrines are so important. Like, if you think about towers, like, even the tower, even when you're level 2 or 3, it's not that scary, right? Like, you'll still dive that. No problem if you have 3 stuns, because you can just regen up, even to your own shrine. But shrines are kind of like places around the map where it actually does matter where you fight. Because before in the past, like, you fight by a tower, if you have like a good initiation, good jump, it's okay, right?
Or you have an ogre.
Yeah, because towers, what they're really for is the ability to TP. But shrines, like, yeah, they don't have this like piddly 152 damage, but they do have this ability to just like consistently heal your team to almost full. And that's so important. It just gives you like a second life. Remember, it was Wings versus Newbie at ESL, where they were just getting stomped on, and this Necro just pops a shrine and everybody's full HP.
You know, a lot of teams misplay around shrines. I think everyone's learned the hard way that shrines are a bit too dangerous to fight into. It's do have a pause. 22 minutes at 6-6, about a 3,000 gold lead for Alliance. Not much in experience. The Animage is a growing threat, but not an immediate one. He doesn't have the Manta style, and Alliance are about to take a tier 2 You still have that Aegis too, though I'm not sure for how much longer. I think it's like another 30, 40 seconds.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
All right.
Coin from
They've
me.
taken all the tier 2s. They should go top. You have to utilize this Aegis, but Era pushes so fast. Like, they kind of either have to just decide to go for this, and
Dinner's got the
gonna
blink
pop in.
dagger. He gets a lot of magic damage onto Loda, bringing him down to half.
It's a very
Beautiful
nice
shackle.
shackle.
Shot there from Koifa. Trixie does a little bit more damage, but the Alliance team, they're just too tanky. They do have the glyph still to be able to work around, as well as Era pushing in, almost taking a tier 3 tower. Another stun onto Loda, trying to finish him off here. Half health still. With a surge in living armor, he will get away pretty easily. The Aegis now being reclaimed. Era desperately trying to take a tier 3 of his own. He's very close to it, but EGM is one step ahead of him. He's managed to overgrowth up the Era Animage that prevents him from being able to take that tier 3 tower, and now it's probably going to get healed right up to full. Era was so close, even if he just had a little bit more farm, maybe say it just a Yasha. Taking that tier 3 tower, even if they don't have the tier 2s, unlocks the shrines as well, and then NiP and Alliance can actually trade map control in that regard. But instead, it's going to be Alliance who take full control here. The tier 3 tower down, and I'm sure more death balling into shrines quite soon.
Yeah, that was really important for them to take that tier 3 and not lose their own, because now it makes it so that if Era decides to go for that play again, they're going to be much faster at base racing him. Because if you notice, it was 3 heroes of Alliance hitting that top tower, but Era's still just as fast, because he's uncontested on his way up there. But in any case, getting closer and closer to the Manta, he's going to have to farm a little bit more risky, which he does. He splits the wave. He has to be able to trust in his ability to be super mobile like this.
One night.
Like, if you
one
force Hanskin to
damage.
blow the global silence just to kill you, it still means that 3 heroes have to go up there just to deal with you. And if it doesn't work, then he spots base for his team, and that's what they need right now. Like, NiP are on a clock, I think.
Even if he does get the Manta, though, can they beat Alliance? Because Alliance are still super tanky with high armor.
It just depends on the initiations, I think. And up at top, Era gonna get gone on.
Gonna blink downwards here.
That was maybe not the best
is
blink.
gonna be able to catch him. They vacuums him right back into the wall. They have the last word as well, and Era is caught. The other lanes, Koifa is quick to try and push out bottom lane, but it looks like Alliance are gonna get full control here.
Just stayed up there a little bit too long. They didn't create pressure around the other lanes as a result. He was
well
pressuring
as Era
top pretty hard,
pushing in.
but just that was where all the focus was, right? So it's reasonable to expect that his team might be behind him. So, and they weren't, but it is a reasonable assumption. So Alliance go there in full force 5. Now they're going to take the shrine, and the game becomes a lot more straightforward for them. And the rest of the cores of NiP get further and further behind.
So do you think in those kind of scenarios, NiP should have used like a core in each lane and just like pressure all the lanes at once and just accept the fact that someone's gonna die, but at least the other 2 lanes will be pushed out as a result?
Even using the Leshrac. Oh, that is...
That's a big ass
huge
courier.
pickup. Yeah, that was a BKB.
Trixie comes through once
Man,
again.
Trixie, what a boss. You need
Load up.
1-0-0.
Yeah. I mean, he was the only reason they've been able to defend multiple pushes in that top lane.
Yeah,
because of that early Aghanim Scepter.
He just blinks in, leaps out. That's pretty funny, actually, that this is what's determining the game right now for NiP.
So BKB down for 3 minutes. That might be still okay for Alliance. I'm sure they've already taken the outer shrines, right? They're probably just going to wait for Roshan anyway, which is going to sync up nicely with the BKB coming back.
It didn't really matter, but it was pretty cool. Because now Alliance have to play a lot more carefully. Like, I think Loda would just be showing in these lanes, no problem. But as a result of not having BKB, a little bit more pensive.
Synderen has decided he likes his life as a ward. Sitting up on the cliff here, scouting EGM, scouting Jonas Fawn. Probably waiting for an opportunity for him and Trixie to get a kill, but it's not going to happen. Alliance bring 3 heroes down to the bottom lane. Trixie does get pulled back to the vacuum. Loda trying to close the distance for the Stormhammer, but won't be there in time. Mud Golem just a little bit too late as well. Time to cut waves.
Time to cut waves. You got to be aggressive about this. And now you see, so there's pressure being put at bottom. They take that risk, and now Era goes top. He puts a little bit of pressure on the tower, forces people up. Then they push in this mid wave with Trixie. Like, this is exactly how you want to play. But in the past, if you notice, the 2 creep waves are like 1 creep wave is here, 1 creep wave is here, and Era's the lone person hitting top, right? like Alliance aren't very afraid to give up that bottom lane as a result, because there's nothing for them to push anyways. So their only move is to kill Era there.
Oh, Blink Dagger now for the Treant Protector. Though I thought he was going to go straight for the Aghanim Scepter, seeing as they do have so much map control and NiP have to play it risky. I thought the Vision would be a nice touch for Alliance, but instead he gets a better source of initiation against the Anti-Mage.
I think it would take him too long to get an Axe by the time it matters.
Yeah. Okay.
Might as well just all in for the counter initiation. Because they, I mean, we talked about it, right? They desperately lack initiation on Alliance's side.
So if this next 5-minute window is the most important thing for this game, NiP, do they contest Roshan? Can they contest Roshan? Or do they just split push and hope to be able to split push enough that the Aegis is never utilized in a high ground push?
I think you have to trust in your ability to high ground with the Sand King. Because if Alliance have better ward vision, which they almost always will, they have this Treant with Gem, right? And the supports on NiP are poor as dirt, then you're never going to be able to really take that kind of risk. So I feel going for the Roshan contest, like, you're pretty much fighting blind. And Alliance should be able to know that, just because they have so much more map presence with Treant, Gem, and Hani's going to hide up here. I think EGM knows he's here, though.
He does. He's scouting all the hiding places, because Hani's been doing this the whole entire time. He's been sitting up here in the tree areas, cutting creep waves, getting opportunities to do some damage, put some pressure on the tier 2s, and force people, members of Alliance, up there.
Yeah, this is exactly what they need to do.
Trixie bursts down another wave, throws out an arrow towards Roshan, nails the Hellbear Smasher, but Alliance looks like they will be taking an Aegis here. Era's just going to take the opportunity to go bottom. So, as you said, NiP are going to try and trust in their high ground, or kind of. They're going to force this fight anyway with just 3. There goes the Global Silence and a BKB use. Cinderant immediately dies, but if it's only Cinderant, that might actually be worth it. Global Silence and BKB use. Meanwhile, Era's still bottom lane. He's going to start threatening that tier 3 and force Alliance members back to base.
The thing is, none of the split push matters if they're able to always defend the tower and just get moving armor off.
Nails the Hellbear Smasher, but Alliance...
That was our huge concern, is that you're pretty much fighting blind, which, for the most part, they were. And Cinderant just kind of walks in there, immediately dies. Like, I'm sure he's kind of okay with the trade. It's one of those situations where you justify it by saying a 5,000 worth dead Sand King. It's probably worth the second hit BKB.
And the Global Silence.
Yeah, and the global. Oh, Era's gonna get run into.
He would manage to get the blink, but Era can just blink away again.
He needs crit.
He is on his way to building it. Crystallis is in his backpack instead of the Aegis. Era. He's trying to stick around, it looks like, to push out the lane some more, but...
Man, Hani's been on point, by the way. Like, he's immediately bottom, pressuring that wave ready.
Yeah.
He's doing a very good job of taking these risks. And Limp is just so tanky. He's got a pipe, a Hurricane Pike, 1900 HP.
Now, they do not have Global Silence for another 35 seconds. You actually do have Epicenter in 10. Seems like a pretty good, decent hold from NiP if Koifa can get out alive here. Blink forward, Koifa, the EGM is going to manage to catch him here with the roots, but Koifa has the wind run still going out. The Shrine attempt to save isn't good enough. BKB used by Loda. He is going to back out for now. Actually, nope, turns around. He's got the God Strength. He doesn't really have much to fear. With one core down, Era is taking the bottom lane. Looks like they are going to be able to take the range. Rax stun comes out just in time. Now the Epicenter comes in. Another Shrine activated. Loda dropping down to about half health. But again, he still has that Aegis NiP. They're just trying to slow down the damage on that melee Rax to allow Era to be able to take bottom lane. He's already taken the tier 3. Now the pursuit. They need to be able to get stuns to stop these
Alliance
TPs
back as a team.
They're going to try and TP Limp. Here goes the Global Silence. Hanskin actually canceling his own TP there. And Era does back away, so they managed to keep their lane of Rax alive at bottom. But they did lose a tier 3, and they also lost Hanskin for it.
Maybe he TP'd to the same spot, so it would have been too long.
Yeah, could be.
I think that's the only explanation for that. And they're gonna spot
They've
him.
gotta,
He's gonna get
yeah.
mixed up, but
And they're gonna burn through most of his mana too. With the vacuum back, he's got all of his mana.
they're gonna run at him.
Era's dead. They're just gonna run at him with all these blinks. As long as they keep the mana down, this shouldn't be a problem. Era has to somehow juke it out and turn to Intel Treads just to get enough mana to blink away and have a hope, a prayer of being able to get out, and that's just not gonna happen.
Crap. Alliance is so next level. They place this ward because they know that Hani has just been a dick about walking around the map. Man, Alliance is playing really well this game. Like, everything's on point. They've got a Hex on Jonas and Van. Limp is just this tanky beast. Like, he's got a pipe to counter the Sand King. NiP's only hope this game is to split push. That ward taking that away. I think Era should know what just happened there, though. Like, it's very clear, right? You didn't just get blind sheeped. Oh, man. That was amazing.
But the damage is already done. He's down for 30 seconds, and they are going to be forced into some sort of scenario where they have to actually full 5-man contest Alliance, where this whole entire time they've been trying to avoid that.
Yeah, there's still an Aegis on the side of Loda. Like, he's just going to walk up here.
Oh, shackle shot not quite landing. They are going to go on Loda here, see if they can finally take down these Aegis, and they will. 3-man vacuum. Synderen needs some help. Got the shrine to work off of, though. There goes the BKB. Loda's used that one. Doesn't have the God Strength, and they have backdoor protection. This is actually going to be a hold without the Animage being needed. The Trixie? Okay, never mind. Just a casual leap forward and blink back.
Don't go too far, guys. This is what happened last time, as Alliance is immediately going to smoke up. They're gonna walk straight up. Or at least that's what was being pinged. I did like that move. Like, if they immediately moved into Alliance's topside, or NiP's topside jungle, they'd be able to find a pick here for free. But instead, they're gonna see Trixie. If they could get the Blink Hex,
they've got him. Follow-up stun. They're just throwing everything they have at him.
Ooh,
it's worth.
Barely whiffs.
Does have the buyback though, and the backdoor protection does buy some time for the rest of NiP to get back. Era's gonna just try and keep on pushing.
Era's just
almost got that BKB too.
Yeah, he's just got to keep going.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Time around, they don't have the epicenter. Here comes the buyback. The shackle shot nicely latched onto Loda and Limp. Koifa's beginning to do a decent amount of damage now. Trixie's going to be caught, though. Does have the BKB. He's good. He's going to throw out the arrow. Nails Hanskin. The TP back, though. Loda's going to be able to come in with a huge hit. What a play from Jonas Safon. Managed to get the 3-man vacuum wall straight into the Storm Bolt. Koifa, very fortunately, managed to get away. And they have a fighting chance here with a buyback here on Era, but it is their last stand. The arrow comes out, nails Loda, Limp. He's actually just going to finish off Hani and potentially Trixie as well. Era comes forward now, but the tanky Limp is not the target you want to go for. Tries to blink back, is able to get out. Last word damage, not quite enough. Koifa going to be slowed down. A second lane of Rax is going to be caught, and Koifa may have just been caught by Jonas Safon. The vacuum back isn't good enough, though, and he is going to die to Era. No ulti needed either, so he can save it for the next tier they can potentially catch. Trixie going to use the Moonlight Shadow, and Alliance are going to try and use the movement speed of Smoke to get out, but now they turn. Nice in. Biz is going to allow Trixie to dodge the Storm Bolt, and a better shackle shot now from Koifa, but it doesn't stop the damage. Limp, he's still a big damage dealer as well, and is able to finish off Trixie's Priestess of the Moon. Alliance will get back without losing any extra heroes.
That's 2 sides now taken from Alliance, so any form of split push that comes out from Era is going to be an incredibly favorable trade for Alliance because they just need that one side. And now you've pretty much forced Era's hand. He has to be here for all the fights now, and he's desperately trying to get the BKB, but I mean,
that buyback cost him everything.
Yeah, he pretty much had it, but had to have the buyback. And I mean, kudos so far to Alliance. They played this game very straightforward. There's been no hiccups. Like, how many heroes did you see just get errantly picked up around the map, right? For the most part, they just kind of stuck together as a ball. They were very quick about how they moved objective to objective. And NiP right now are just struggling to pull out damage.
It seemed that Alliance's discipline won them this game, as NiP were just so close. Like, just a couple of mistakes would have given NiP so much. Or if they're a little bit farther ahead or something. We talked about how the tier 3 almost went down in bottom lane. The melee racks almost went down a different time. There was plenty of opportunities where, say that last fight, Era could have had his BKB if he had just, another 300 gold. Maybe he would have said it's worth investing in that defensive item, and that whole fight could be different.
Yeah. Right now, though, Alliance, they're just so strong. They've got a heart on Loda now too. He's not worried whatsoever.
Yeah, he is so tanky. That's all their magic damage. Doesn't
here we
even come
go.
down to half. Great vacuum with the overgrowth as well. Air's been caught with
Alright, now
Global
that's a game.
Silence, post Manta, and now he's done. GG called from Synderen. First game in this best of 3 in elimination. Best of 3 in elimination mode does go to Alliance.
I think this is my bad. I feel like I overrated the AM in a game like this. And yeah, Trixie had a lot of farm, but I feel like they would have been better served if this was an offlane Sand King, because they needed a hero that can impact the game. Part of the problem with NiP's lineup is that you've got these 3 cores, and yes, they were doing very well independently, right? Like Quickfire was keeping up in CS with the Viper mid, Era had fine farm, Trixie, you know, we talked at length about how much farm he was getting, but like there's no synergy between these 3 cores. Like they didn't enable the other 2 supports on the side of NiP. So there was no smoke movement from NiP. Like, what play did you imagine in the last game that they made together? Like, there was that one attempt mid that got completely crushed by Global Silence, and that was the only time that we saw them really make some form of play that wasn't just straight up split push. So very well done by Alliance.
Do you think the Wind Ranger, because I know Slacks is going to be ready to gloat that Wind Ranger lost, do you think that that hero was a bit of a letdown? Because it felt like Koifa, he made some mistakes, and that probably cost him a lot, but it did feel like the Wind Ranger was rather impotent against this this Alliance lineup.
I think it was the combination of all 3 heroes. Like, I felt like all 3 heroes, they maybe 2 of them, and then you have some kind of space creating core. But having 3 heroes like that, it felt like it was almost just overkill. Like there wasn't a lot to be done there. Whereas Alliance's lineup was very straightforward, right? Like they have these immobile heroes, but they played fast with them. They just went around the map, took towers, created this like monster of a Sven who just sat in the front, tanks damage, and it was really well done.
All right, Alliance take game 1, but we do have the rest of the series to play out, which means we are going to have our in-between time. I'm sure the panel, and Slacks in particular, is very eager to talk about this game 1.